Hello there, we are live from our studios here in Kokomlemle. Our digital address GA 0992539. This is your home of fearless, credible and independent journalism. Our lead stories this hour. A move of onion sellers at last after 16 years of try as police fire gunshots, dispelling people they describe as criminals, impeding government's relocation of the Agboboloshi traders plan. We are in both locations, that's Ajay Kotoku and Agboboloshi, as we check the level of preparation at the new location. Also coming up, a three-member committee, including security and international relations analyst Vladimir Enchidanso, to probe the Ejura shooting incident in which 2 people died. We are live in the area where the Interior Minister inaugurated the committee. What do the families seeking justice make of it? We'll hear them as well. Also coming up, as closed sea efficient season begins today, some fisher folk in Keta are demanding livelihood support as the minority in parliament share skepticism over the ability of this move to achieve its intended purpose because of government's decision to increase license fees for vessel owners by 300%. Of course, the pulse is brought to you by Global Communities Dignilu Affordable Safe Sanitation. Do join us on DSTV 421, Go TV 144. Remember, we're streaming live on YouTube and our social media handles. My name is Gifty Andopia. This is the pulse. Please be my guest. Well, it's been the venue for their business for nearly a century. But after nearly 2 decades of attempts to relocate them, traders have finally begun moving from the Agboboloshi market to Ajay Kotoku. But then it didn't come easy. We'll tell you how it all happened when we touch base with our reporters on the ground monitoring their development. First, though, a report by my colleague Benjamin Akakpo when he visited the Ajay Kotoku area today.
Here in Ajay Kotoku, where onion sellers, crab dealers, cattle herders and rearers are supposed to move. And today is D-Day. Today is the deadline. If you look right in this direction, you would see heaps, piles of sacks of onion that is being offloaded. Many trucks have come through. And if you cast your eyes a bit further, you will see the stalls, well, some of the sheds under which the onion sellers would actually be plying their trade. The stalls here number over 100 per my count. And this is where all the action is. This is where they are supposed to move. But there are some underlying concerns. Security, for example. There is the Ajay Kotoku police station, which is just a stone's throw from here. I was interacting earlier with the commander who pleaded anonymity. He didn't want to be live on television, but he says they are doing their best to ensure that everything goes on smoothly here. But on the ground of security, some onion sellers have shared with me that they are afraid that at night there might be people, nefarious characters who might come and take their wares. And one of them actually said that if that should happen, if they are not given police patrols at night, they may be forced to take the law into their own hands. They've also asked that there be fire service operations close to them in the eventuality of any fire. And finally, that they need financial services, maybe a bank or other financial institutions, to be brought closer to this place so that they can actually deposit their money and also avert any robberies. But there are more issues and many more people who have been affected. I'm going to engage some of them now who will come and share their stories. Okay.
The thing is that we have so many challenges here.
What are some of those challenges?
Yeah, the land they have declared. They have shown us the land, but they haven't cleared all the land. And we are facing those challenges. Not all our people are getting a place. Look at this place going to the study building. All those land, they said they will clear it, but they haven't cleared it. And that side, they said they'll clear the car park there, they haven't cleared it. And most of our people come here, not all of them have shed, they are even fighting. But we, the leaders, are making cool, begging them that the minister will come and clear it. And our share, the contractor they're giving to do the share, he said we shouldn't go inside. Can't you see that we are on the roadside selling? We're supposed to go in.
Me ba fita na pama kwa wansa ba bia me dem me konta be si kwampo no minya
Into a container, and what they are about it.
Because still me, I mean, funny place I'm the best. Into a problem, Casapan, to Mr. Banner say, oh, my, I didn't according to Obiana and the share. I say, I
know mobile phones. Now, once a journey for when you
some market there, won't me a market for including gender phone choir. Into me possible. For example, the gender phone choir, so come dinner and also PDB a gender or back of our infant. So to me, market say a gender phone choir, and then to me possible. So I'm marketing like on marketing day, it's 2 pound. And as for example, so before I say, or better than I would be. It's like on marketing day, it's 2 pound. Until to Yami place, until Mr. say, how my Muslims are coming there. And the maximum.
That's so and so he is not an onion seller, but he works with mobile phones. He sells mobile phones, and he says that they, are part of that community, the onion sellers, as they were in Agbogloshi. You can't have onion sellers alone. There will be people who will be trading, who will be performing other activities in the midst of them, and that is his situation. And he says that as they have been moved here, they've also followed through because they cannot remain in Agbogloshi. But the problem is that no provisions have been made for people like him. And he is pleading that something be done about the situation. Whatever they have to pay, they are willing to pay to ensure that they can get some space here in Ajin Kotoku at this location and then continue with their trade. There are others who will be speaking to us. Mommy, Pacho, morning. Your friend saying?
Pacho, your friend is Cynthia Vovo. Pacho, me chichi jene towa Agbogloshi. And I'm 2 years. Your master was school. Say you need to make beer. Yanti. A bam boy and yes, when you're dabrewa. Nefa pay and no do any fashion colano.
It's all Pacho say now. What you chili jene? It's almost the bar. Almost to the bar. Now also wajibi. Now what you?
Pacho, I son.
Who they wound to?
Debbie. Because Fana my chichiri. Who's our buy say hey now sound 2 years there. You see any baby I could be. Before caffeine sound to the cocoa unya she lord for cra unya.
And you can see also in your shot the police commander and some members of the police service who are also here to ensure that things go well.
Montrans no sia mudige na dwa ti hani na mobile no o se hwe from ni na ho side ni na da ho bus o munya nje ya ti kenkere ge ne for ba ya nti me force anene kina no mba ya kama ma ge ne for ti sase ne dey fine very very good fine pa ma ge ne for muninge nti dey ka wo ba ya gima na man se on force ne ma on se ge ne for mo pension.
For him, what he is saying is that the land is a bit waterlogged and that he wants it to be filled properly, that there are bushes around that ought to be cleared, and that, of course, onions cannot thrive in places where there is water, and so they want those situations dealt with. They say they don't have toilet facilities here. In Agbogloshi, they actually had toilet facilities, a mosque, showers, places where they could attend to their daily business, because a lot of them also happen to be Muslim. So they are asking for government to complete the sheds and ensure that they have the requisite facilities to make life easy for them as they transition to Ajin Kotoku. Let's go on and interact with a few more people. Pacho, if I was saying?
Yeah, Pacha from Amidu. Boga. Yeah.
Inti also Jane in the bit.
Yeah, me ton gain if
What do you have had that?
Yeah, me dan me never kwa na you ha na no.
Inti who say CSA Mumbra.
Yeah. Minister say yamba ha. Ya dan asepa ya ba ya hu asase no so. Aya fine. Na embom so ya be hu asase no. In fact, on wie ya ba ya no kura ye gain so mo da so ya juma. Na wo hwe a igere na omoda se adwuma na ebia o betima ye na adu etu eyere ebo bi tiri unhu nti ye da na ye pa ne kyo se o be ye ayi no ntemtem enwie maye na ye ba ha no so ye nyina ya mba ha
ana no omuwie ne ntem
maye ensa ye nyina ya mba ha efiri mande ko no mo afo ba bire ba ha.
But he's also been in the business for a while, and he says, of course, they need the sheds to be completed quickly enough so they can actually place the products there. He also spoke about the toilet facilities, among others, and he's saying that as far as the banking or the financial end of things is concerned, they've been given some assurances that some of the stalls will be given to financial institutions to ensure that they can continue doing business. Particular respect of security matters and night patrols. They are not willing to share anything for now. They remain tight-lipped about that situation. But we shall continue probing to find out what they can share with us on that particular subject. It remains critical here because the onion sellers are bringing their wares here and they need to be sure, they need some certainty that the products they are bringing their wares will actually be secure.
So that was earlier this morning, my colleague Benjamin Akakbu there. Back at the Agbogbloshie market, there was joy for many of the traders as they made the move to their new trading center. Not all were happy though, of course, but some traders had concerns about the entire relocation process.
Almost your office on almost start also MPP office on they are start generate gidi ba
then ankasa is here
say almost starting as so that for any police for not start chase almost start about tear gas and nyama enyina e ko ni
tear gas no be ko any
yeah we bought one year go confirm.
So he's telling me that, well, after they set up the fire and the tires were bent down there, they had to all run for cover. He mentions the tear gas and says that they went right into their eyes and they had to, you look for water to cover your nose.
Put inside my dresses to cover my nose and my eyes.
Okay,
I'm a MPP officer, no need to trouble a fan by Gino. Now make dinner and I'm a MPP officer new on the Kengbe. The police work so that for I'm a new Shishan. Now I'm a born taking from police work chase me. Now I want tear gas, cannot fiano. And
he is describing to me in Ga that the people that SBCO refers to as criminal elements attacked the NPP office within the area, burnt it down, and that was the reason for the police intervention. Madam, not now.
Madam, I'm two tear gas and Medana. As any baby, I call Musumubus again a lie. Yanim say, I see a count. Say, I can't quite a moment, baby. They say, any baby, I call. Kutankwalesio ye fana me ko tese yi mini baby akọ mini baby akọ mini me nkwala ye fana ye akọ mini baby akọ me baby akọ tina wa ye bra wankan kaya tina ya ba ati sade mo baby ye fa ye tinto ye de ye titu baby nkwa ye de mi ase munya abotira ma he tia gas no se kutankwala wa ye ti obi kwa na age me ba de ko eti tia gas obo se nku ya na se ye mo ye den ati se le mo pese mo kan
I'm saying that Kofobi na pese omo wi amoniama ni bi nti na omo tutu tear gas.
Ye de hu hwe. Ye de stores wo ho ni ya ye hu hwe. So obuti owi ya na ma dia me de me fa mani hu ye. Tear gas nti na ye dwane. Ati sa me timi dwane me be hu nja me ne memba. Me ne memba ni kwani omo ko school. Esa ka me omo bala mabatum ya ye fa na omo ko.
And she makes a point quite briefly that she only thought that the section that was being targeted was the onion section. She didn't know that section was also affected. But now, as they're firing tear gas, they had to run for cover, and that's what has brought them here. She's making a passionate appeal that if indeed their sections are also covered, then government should make it a point to find alternative spots for them, just like has been done for the onion sellers, so that they could all move.
I didn't for the maybe just me MPP fool. Now then now me uncle for me ya
no I
don't two or one no kwada omo baby so kwada na
yo mo ko ajen kotoku
ade
dem bia wan si dem bia nsi odam na ekotra honom edam na ekotra o ye pada na cho omo ye tra anum sei kakra ye kosi na ni hwia na ya tu akọ honom na wanum de pa no cho ye pa no cho ye pa mu cho pa hwia na ya tu akọ ye pa no cho ye ko ye nkwanya baby nda.
So you you're hearing them making a point that, well, if really they are being moved, then they should be provided with alternative spots. But I see this gentleman trying to intervene. Let me speak to him, boss. Now, then I will wait for Saturday.
Almost my fire hundi, more be as on 12, more be as on 2, so more be and the no be silent. Yes, we pass from you. I don't know that's from the Nipanacha, also that's from the bed. Ebe do it. One fast from there, also fast from them do it. And a peace. And yes, we are from nominal peace. I'm
gonna say, yeah, to tear gas, a beer comment,
but tear gas in a very mistake. So my side, you know, because you only higher market. Obi on mo no be aho on am okoni baby na wa be say na na wa be man yare no dey coffee no disturb it and ye pampa ye pa abena chonka sa chira police for no say ohun ye mbobo aha na ye obi na ye basa what say ye obi na ye basa so mo ntumbo mi tue gas no say bibi because na say enya o mo hu ye mbobo no mo frɛ ye police for no mo form trans no bia mo obi abutare enya ntoko e na ye gididi abutare na ye pa ye poma cho
ti mo no mo fifa.
Oh yeah, fancy. I hear you cry. If nothing, you'll be a man. My house may be a hand. What's it? Me tombaire. Me tombaire.
Phone.
Yeah, by the phone me. What must say to you? Peace. Yeah, Poma Cho, be any on me who I know me and penny for the young Cassa, now some day, Embra.
He's made two very important interventions. The first is to clarify to his colleagues here that indeed the YAM section is not part of the agenda to clear and decongest, as it were, the market. He also makes a point about the use of tear gas to disperse the crowd by the police and security officials, and making the point rightly so that that was a bit too much because it has implications for their health and so on and so forth. And so these are live pictures from the Agbogloshi market, and as we report to you on the operation by the regional minister to move the onion sellers away from here and get them to a new spot that's been earmarked for them. Me pacho na say den.
Me pacho, dem be say me bisa ni say. Konkoma say no, yenya mwa na egu a o. Yesu ye ka nipa ho ye nipa. Se do election so a, na mo mamba, na mo kotokoto sa, se mo nya diwe, mo nya wie pe. Na afi mo ye ti say ye mwa bi, yenya mwa o. Ye nipa me ni so mo fria, se mo ba be bia yesu ye wo no. Me so me shop wo akola kitu ama bre. Ana me si shop ba ye ni blog. Eti say ye ba na be bubu na mo pem ye na se mo pem bone. Eti de o mo ye no mo hwe ni ye o. Yenya mwa o, ye nipa eti de o mo ye no mo ye careful mo hwe ni ye. Ama mo ku ye na de o mo ye na ti nipa ko ma.
She's making a point that the government should treat them better. They deserve better because they have voted the government into power. But as the clarification has come, this is at least not yet the target of this operation.
Masa, the economy said the way economy, Yenya Ghana for being a Togoni, Yawaha, Anna, Edwin Bassa, or Nipa, personal interest, Ube 2 years in our ha. And Nipa was say, Yankwa did they?
Yamako Ajin Kotoku.
Ajin Kotoku, no space in Uswa, who would mean 20 acres and farm the whole Hasan call Nipa more than 30,000 plus. I didn't Ghana and to a Benabi. I didn't know Bessa.
Yes, Senator Nakufado. Yes, Senator. I should have put him. Nadia Cospiano. I can't come to him. Yet, Nipi. Yenishi, yes, Seno. You don't go Seno. Oh, Yamopo. Baby, Tino. Yeni Yabedi. Oh, Yamopo. Yada. Yes, here to two. Yayanami. Yamisi. Yamamu Jani. Yes, Seno. Nadakupado. We have a pot. We have a pot. We have a pot.
Pictures from the Agbogloshi market, and I've just been trying to speak to a few of the traders here on the stretch that's just been rioted by the Irish youth. Well, the police has been dispersing them by the use of tear gas.
Rubber bullet,
making reference to what they call the use of rubber bullets, and she's been showing us one of the rubber bullets, and that's the point that she's making, that if indeed this is how the crowd is going to be dispersed, that is not fair. Or she makes a point quite critically that the police has to use measured force in dispersing the crowd.
So we've taken you to Ajen Kotoku and you've seen the preparation there, how ready the place is, and we've brought you back to Agbogloshi, where the people are supposed to be moving to Ajen Kotoku. My colleagues Manuel Kranting and Mamiesi Nyamiche Thompson will be joining me so that we can address the concerns that have been raised by the people. In fact, we have the Regional Minister Henry Quartey, who has been leading the exercise and has been giving us some responses for the traders when he interacted with Manuel Kranting. He asked Manuel Kranting specifically about the preparedness of Ajen Kotoku to receive these people. Mamiesi will be joining me, Manuel will join me, but let's hear from the minister before we have the conversation.
MC for Ablekuma Central, my regional coordinating director, met with all of them here, and then Honorable Amedata, the immediate past member of parliament for Okakwe South. Now, they agreed to move. They requested for a few things, i.e. trucks and all that, and we agreed to give them. In fact, they went to Ajen Kotoku and they refused to go to where they were told to go to. And I think that it is not fair on us, because Ajen Kotoku, apart from where the onion sellers are, there is about a 12-acre land that they could easily come and do their business. But they were there yesterday night and they refused. Even the committee that we put together called them to come and collect their 50,000 Ghana cedis as their share of disbursements to be able to transport their items from here, and again they refuse. They had planned to resist when we get here, and that we would not take. It is not going to happen. Ajen Kotoku is still there. There's a space for them. If they go today, they will find a space.
I see. We're just getting reports of some people having challenges even at Ajen Kotoku. What's the briefing you've received on that, sir?
Have you looked at the work here? Don't let us be doing this negative reportage. I keep saying this. What challenges are they having there? They have only been there today, and they are even doing business already. I can show you the video. Truck commercial vehicles are already loading to Kasoa, and you are talking about challenges. You see,
these are just reports that we are getting from the ground, sir.
Journalism should always not be focused on negativity. Look at what we have done today. And I think that we should all be commending ourselves for a good job done, and then try and look at how best to finish this place whilst we try to tackle Ajen Kotoku.
I think that's exactly what we are doing. I mean, it's a good job that we've done here, but let's now assure the people there.
They have had assurances for the past 7 weeks. And I don't know what they've been told, but I have videos here. I have men on the ground. They are doing business. They are happy. They are happy. They are doing business. So my brother.
So the briefing is that the Ajen Kotoku folks are happy.
I think that your line of questioning should be that how come people were allowed to do this here to Mother Ghana? This is the direction you should be going to. Look at it. Let the whole world see what is happening here. And I think we should be focusing on how to move all these debris. Even when we move them, where are we taking them to? Those who have been here, who've been here for about 15 years, what is their health like? These are serious issues we are talking about. And I think that we should be probing into that than just the negative reportage. I'm sorry, but, you know.
Well, it's interesting that you say these are negative reportage, because this is essentially the questions that are coming. I understand. I understand.
5 minutes ago, when I gave you an answer, you asked me this question here. So I don't know why we are coming back to it.
So this is going to continue for 1 week, correct, sir? Just to assure the people that, I mean, there's no space for them here. As you've mentioned,
to assure who?
You just mentioned that there's no space for them here, just for the sake of emphasis.
Who are we going to assure? Who are we assuring? I'm asking you the question now. Who are we assuring?
The folks who have resisted this afternoon.
Move everybody, and we'll move everybody. Nobody's going to stay here. That is a fact.
And that's the emphatic statement that the regional minister has made, that there's no space for anybody here who wants to push back.
And we have come in here, we are taking possession, we are not leaving anybody here. That's it.
And that's a categorical statement, Darrell, that the regional minister makes, that there's no space for anybody who wants to push back against the exercise that is actually being carried out here. It's going to continue for the next week until, according to the minister, everything is raised down to ground zero. It will be fenced, as he's told us, and for other developmental projects to take over.
And you know, when I started this, everybody thought, oh, it cannot happen. But please, read my lips. Nobody is going to come back here. It is done. Nobody. If they come back 10 times, we'll move them 100 times. It's not going to happen anymore. We're done. So rather, we want to secure the place and put it to good use. Yeah, Blekume Central Municipal Assembly wants to build a hospital. Korle Bu, as we speak, you know what it is. So when you have a hospital here, proximity to Korle Bu, super, so that we can save lives. This is killing Ghanaians. This is killing all of us. You having me here since morning, how do you feel with the stench that you're breathing in? And people have been here for over 15, 20 years. I was hoping that you look at it from another angle. You've seen all of them connected electricity. For 15 years, they are not paying utility bills. I think this is the journalism you should be doing. Probe into those areas. But they are still asking me to leave the scrap dealers here when they have been using electricity for 15 years, when they have been fetching water for 15 years, when they have created filth in the place, and when Ghana is #1 hazardous e-waste in the world, and you want me to leave them here? I'm asking you now, tell me.
To be fair, that's not what I'm asking.
No, that is what
to be fair, that's not what I'm asking. To be fair, and you know that that's not what I'm asking. The question I asked, I just spoke to their rep, who says that they had not been engaged. You've just responded to that. That engagement has happened.
The member of Parliament for Ablekuma Central has been engaging them for the past 1 week. Even 3 days ago, he was there in the evening. You see, when they are able to woo you to their side, and they see you asking these questions, they get encouraged. But when you put it to them that, do you pay electricity? Then we are there. When was the last time you paid electricity? Look, they all have DSTVs and things are here. You and I, when we owe 20 Ghana, our lines are disconnected. Go on that line of journalism. It will help us.
I'll say Greater Accra Region Minister there, speaking to Manuel Kranting. Of course, he has his own opinion about our journalism. But let me go to my colleagues who covered this for us on the ground. And indeed, a lot of people support this move. We've been covering it from beginning till today. Manuel and Mamiesi, it's good to have you both. I want to start with you, Manuel. You were at the Agbogloshi, where they were being moved to Ajen Kotoku. So let's start from there. At the time you were living, what was happening?
At the time I was leaving, CAM had been restored to the market, and it was almost business as usual, except for the area where you had the buildings which formerly housed the which had been torn down. So essentially, well, for the other extensions of the market, they have returned to their normal duties. So I can make examples of the yam market and the ones beyond the yam market. All of them have returned to their normal duties. In fact, at the time I was moving away from the market, it was a sharp contrast. What I saw about 2 hours ago when they were firing of tear gas and so on to disperse angry, and we've been told that these angry youth are a part of the members of the Scrap Dealers Association at the market. They were unhappy about the way they were being moved from the ground, and that's the reason they were protesting. But by the time I was leaving, to answer your question categorically, calm had been restored to the market.
And that certainly gladdens the minister's heart. And indeed, for anybody who believes in this cause, who believes that this space ought to be cleaned up, they believe that this is a good cause. But Manuel, there were some questions that emanated from Ajen Kotoku, which you put to the minister. I want to talk to Mamiesi. Mamiesi, you were at Ajen Kotoku. Now, we've heard some of the people you talked to. Some of them are very excited about the new place. They are happy about having to start again. They just want the allocation of their lands to them. Mamiesi, bring us up to speed with your conversation with the chairman. It looks as if now that the people have moved from Agbogloshi, they are resettling here. was there a clear, was there clarity as to who should sit where?
So, Gifty, to tell you the truth, when I got to Agbogboshi, it wasn't as rosy or as exciting as the minister has put it. When we got there, there were the traders who were actually seated, scattered, if I should put it that way, they were scattered all over the place. They didn't really have a clear marking of who should sit where or who should be where. There were also construction works undergoing. In fact, when I spoke to the chairman of the Accra Onion Sellers and Importers Association, he told me that they weren't pleased because when they came to Ajay Kotoku, the expectations they had of the place wasn't what they saw. In fact,
what were they? What did they say? Sorry, Mamiesi, but what did they say they were expecting, and what did they see? Because this is a conversation that's been going on for a very long time. In fact, to be fair to the minister, he's been engaging them. He says the authorities have been engaging them for a very long time, and we know we've been trying to do this for the past about 16 years now. So what did they expect to see that they didn't see?
So comparing Agbogboshi to Ajay Kotoku, Agbogboshi is much bigger, according to the chairman. It has facilities like toilets, it has schools, it has banks, it has a relatively good road than that which is at Ajay Kotoku. Ajay Kotoku does not have banks. It doesn't have simple amenities like toilets, bathrooms, and even the sheds in which they are supposed to be, lodging or having their goods aren't completed. We got there and carpenters, masonries are supposedly or are, still building, ensuring that the construction is completed so that the onion sellers can move into their sheds. One thing that the chairman told me was that the situation, if not taken care of, could escalate because people are getting impatient. For 4 days, they have moved from Agbogboshi to the area and are expected to have their place where they can start selling or start doing business. But they've been there for 4 days, and all they're doing now is trying to find space for their goods, their sacks, their onions. Talk of even how to have an office, how to count their monies. They still haven't been able to find their way about the Ajay Kotoku area.
Mamiesi, so this is a leader talking here. And as far as we're concerned from the minister, these leaders have been engaged. Monies have been made available. And we've been trying to reach him, the chairman himself, to talk to him about these, but we've not been successful. But I just want to understand from what he told you, whether or not he addresses these, that the minister has indicated that there have been several meetings with them. He is a leader. Once the process has gone through, it was his responsibility, I guess, and the others, to now begin to allocate the space because they've been given the space for the people. Does he address these when he talks to you, when he talked to you?
Essentially, he did. I asked him specifically about the spaces that were there, and he told me that they were assured that there'll be enough space for their people when they moved to Ajay Kotoku. And so when they got there, they were expecting that their sheds were ready, their facilities there will be ready for them to start business immediately. But when they got there, it wasn't ready.
Okay.
People were still working on the sheds, actually. I was there and I saw it. There was wood, there was metals all over, scattered all over the place. In fact, Gifty, they had to put their pallets in the open so that they could arrange their onions on them.
Okay.
And the minister was talking about trucks that were loading and getting there. In fact, he told me that they're able to get about 50 to 70 trucks of load full of onions on a daily basis. But when I got there were only 2 trucks at the time we got there. And so that is a considerable decrease in the amount of onions they receive daily to do business with. And so it tells us that not all has been settled yet. They haven't really settled in yet, as is being said by the minister.
Mamiesi, hang on, we'll wrap up shortly. Manuel, This was a question that you put to the minister about how ready Agyen Kotoku is to receive the people. It looked as if, from the conversations going on so far, it looked as if the people had not taken the time to prepare the place that was given to them so that they could move easily there. Is that the sense you get when you talk to the people, first of all, before we come to the minister's response?
Well, I spoke to the assistant of the secretary of the scrap dealers at Agbogloshi, and he made the point categorically so that there's not been any form of engagement with them. But the minister disputes that point that was made by the secretary of the scrap dealers. But that point, I must say, was made by the secretary of the scrap dealers. He says they've not been engaged, and he actually went further to ask for a spot to be made available for them, just as has been made available for the onion sellers. He put a question that, okay, so if the onion sellers are being moved to Agyen Kotoku, what about the scrap dealers? What is the intention of the minister as regarding where they are supposed to move to? And so that gave you a sense of the extent of engagement.
Right.
Even if that engagement had been done, the secretary to the association that I spoke to says that he had not been part of any engagement. They were not part of the committee that was set up to do the community engagement and sensitization.
Okay, back to the minister's answer to the question. Now, of course, a lot of people are excited that after 16 years of trying, we've been finally able to move these people from this place that we want to sort of, sanitize. But you asked him how ready Agyen Kotoku is to receive the people, which is the question I was putting to Mamiesi. What did he say?
Well, his response was that Agyen Kotoku was, as far as he was concerned, very ready. And he made a point, and if I could just quote him, he says, everybody is happy. And that was what he told me. He says that based on the engagement with the onion sellers and all the other folks that are involved and are being transported to the Agyen Kotoku market, everybody is happy. I made a follow-up question about the concerns of the scrap dealers. And he says that they were rather being recalcitrant. And indeed, even if they were not sure of where to now transport their wares to, there was an extra 12-acre parcel of land that has been left even away from the spots that is being occupied by the onion sellers. And so if they were minded to indeed move from the Agbogloshi area to Agyen Kotoku, there was extra 12 acres of land that they can at any point in time take up. And so that's his call to them. Okay. He essentially rubbishes the concerns that they've raised, defending it by saying that all of those ones have been addressed and sufficient measures have been put in place to accommodate all their concerns. And so for him, any issue should be channeled through the leadership of the association to reach the Regional Coordinating Council, which is actually spearheading this exercise of moving the traders from Agbogloshi to Agyen Kotoku.
Okay, but then there were the use of tear gas as well. It became, from the police's perspective, necessary because of the recalcitrance that they talk about. And they said that there were a group of people that they were describing as criminals. We'll be taking some comments on social media on that. Manuel, were you there at the time that the tear gas was fired?
Yes, at a point while I was reporting, I saw the crowd control vehicles moving at top speed across the street. And if you know Agbogloshi very well, that entire stretch hitherto would have been very occupied with a lot of trading activities, had been dejected, essentially paving way for the speeding crowd control vehicle. As I reported, myself, I struggled to keep my eyes open because of the tear gas that had been used. And I put a question to ACP Kwesipoy, who's Director of Operations, Accra Region Police, and he said that it had become necessary because of who he referred to as criminal elements who were taking advantage of the situation to first of all rob the other traders of their wares and cause mayhem. So, and at a point when I was there, I saw ties being bent, and I made specific reference to a signboard which had the face of the NPP's candidate in the Ododo constituency in the 2020 election, Neil Anti-Banaman. His signboard had been torn down. In fact, was used as a tray for the burning of the tires.
Right.
And so, yes,
and that's what triggered the use of the tear gas. Manuel, thank you very much. Mamiesi, thank you as well. But I just want to go on Facebook right now to see the thoughts, comments that you're sharing yourself on the tear gas, especially that was used at today's relocation process. Now, we put that story there from myjoyonline.com about police having to use tear gas and having to, so that's the story there, police having to fire tear gas and warning shot at Agbagbulushi Market, which is in a move to rid the area of, according to ACP Kusifori, hoodlums. So let's take a look at your thoughts now. Stanley Joshua says, every Ghanaian wants change, but doesn't want change when change is affected. Daybreak, let's change our mindset. As Al Sam Teni Tay says, believe our leaders are old in reading books, but immature in thinking and planning. This government is a waste of resources. Kojo says, if the system must work, I think force must be applied. They were given notes several months. King Pressure says, when we recruit a lot of them and they are not getting work to do. Okay, I'm not quite sure what that point is, but certainly those are some of your thoughts on Facebook about what is happening today. Well, it's been after several years. The regional minister makes us understand that the engagements have gone on for several months. Enough notice has been given. 400,000 cedis has been made available for the traders to relocate in terms of transportation from Agbogbulushi to Ajen Kotoku. We'll be focusing our attention on Ajen Kotoku and how the processes on over there go, how people are resettled, and how well the place is prepared. But many governments have also promised and failed to deliver basic services that can support headquarters, most of whom live in Agbogbulushi, otherwise known as Kayaye. The most recent of these promises is one made by Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia in 2019. My colleague Justice Beidou brings back the promises and goes back into Old Fadama, Ghana's largest slum, to find out if anything has changed.
It is Tuesday, November 5, 2019. Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia has come to Old Fadama. He has a high-powered delegation of government ministers following him. The entire slum is at a standstill. Thousands have come to meet him in pomp and pageantry. Mr. Bawumia says he is the first sitting vice president to have come to the slum. Valentina is in the crowd too.
The lives of the people of Agbogbulushi matter as much as the lives of the people of East Legon or Cantonment.
The vice president is on a promising spree. Washrooms, toilets and bathhouses, he says, would be built in the days that will follow his visit.
In all, you may see 8-unit toilets, 4 8-unit toilets, 32 toilets in all among the people of Agbogbulushi. Community center ha ye say ehie ahaso na mudimo ejumade wa ha community meetings enti Nana Akufo-Addo say yensensi SAS community center emamo enye no story building na emamo so that we community center.
The government has also put in its budget for 2019 a hostel facilities where Kayayes will sleep and is going to set up a scheme to train more than 10,000 Kayayes to start their own businesses. It's been 2 years. None of that has happened.
He didn't honor even one of those promises. Once you make up a promise to do something, and based on the basis of which people vote for you, there is the reason for you to come back and honor that promise. So if you don't do it, as any normal human being will feel, it's bad. As Ghanaians who pay tax, there is the need for those basic amenities to be provided for them.
You cannot promise and you are not doing anything. And we are following you. You just come and give her 20 cedi, 20 cedi, receiving sometimes everybody voted then our top points now they are my. Because we said we should continue the work. We shouldn't change any work. So you don't want our life to be changed, so that we should continue to carry the kaya.
Kayo, we do something my son we should see. And to Amaka being able best let's have you see here government to pass a palamafa. Lafa Daha.
At the main lorry station inside Agbubloshi, more cars have arrived from northern Ghana. On board, more girls. Many of them tell me they are here to do kayaking. And the conditions they live in when they come here is worsening.
Well, that's my colleague Justice Bedu with that report there. JoyNews has reached out to the Vice President's office for a response to this story. We were directed to speak with the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. The AMA has yet to respond to our questions on this issue, and you can share your views on the story as well on our social media platforms. You're still watching The Pulse with me, Gifty and Apia. I'm going to take a very quick break. Well, if you are just hearing this afternoon, the committee that is expected to probe the Ejura shooting incident has been put together. We have details of who are on that particular committee. We also are live on the ground in Ejura to find out what the family make of it. I have a police superintendent who has retired, of course, and also a member of the Defense and Interior Committee in Parliament will help us have some analysis on the back of this story. Welcome back to the show. Many thanks for staying with us. Now, the Interior Minister Ambrose Derry has disclosed that he has set up a 3-member committee to conduct an inquiry into the disturbances at Ejura that led to the death of 2 persons during a clash between residents and security personnel on Tuesday. He says the committee will also look into the cause of death of Ibrahim Mohammed, the social media activist whose death sparked outrage in the area following the disturbances. President Akufo-Addo has instructed the Interior Minister, as you are well aware of, to set up a committee that will probe the matter within 10 days. Well, we are in the 9th day already. According to the first day already. So according to the Minister, the 3-member committee include Justice George Kingsley Kumsin, Justice of the Court of Appeal, who is the chairman, Dr. Vladimir Enchidanso, who is a security analyst, and another member, Juliet Amoa. A principal state attorney, Marie-Louise Simmons, will serve as secretary to the committee. The Interior Minister made the statement at the Ejura Chief's Palace as part of his visit to the area. Well, if you are just also getting to know, the minister is also visiting some of the family members who have been affected. Nanaya Ojima is our man on the ground. We'll be connecting with him shortly, and then I'll have a conversation here in the studio. But listen to a security expert who is predicting that the military officers alleged to have shot the 2 persons in the Ejura disturbances leading to their deaths are likely to walk away free. Now, 2 people died and 4 others were injured during that confrontation between the youth of the town and the team of security analysts there following the death of Kaka Mohammed. The committee that has been set up to probe has just been inaugurated today. But President for the Institute for Security Disaster and Emergency Studies, Dr. Ishmael Norman, has described the probe as a cover-up. Listen.
The president took an action on this, but not the right action. It is designed to cover up people who are culpable. And if this continues, the youth is upset, or the youth are upset. If we don't find good solution to the upsettedness, this conflict between the establishment and the youth will continue. And we have to stop it, because Ghana is the only country we got. A commission of inquiry is probably the best forum for this. I don't see how the Minister of Interior is going to turn around and question himself. I don't see how the Chief of Defense Staff is going to turn around and question himself. So again, this is not an issue for internal investigation. This goes beyond internal investigations. Commission of inquiry should be the way to go. When the good things happen, the political heads take credit. When bad things happen, they should take the blame as well. Who put the dissect together? Who controls the dissect? They do. So I think this is not the time to draw lines. Everybody who is involved within the chain, within that circle, should be interviewed, should be questioned, should be interrogated.
Well, security analyst Dr. Ishmael Norman there, speaking to my colleague Evans Mensah. Let's get more on this matter. Retired Police Superintendent Peter Lanchene Tobo, who is also a member of the Defense and Interior Committee in Parliament, is here in the studio with me. Mr. Tobo, it's good to have you. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Gifty. It's been a while.
It's been a while, indeed.
Wonderful.
Well, let's look at what happened on Tuesday. As a police officer, I'm sure that you heard all that happened. I want to take your preliminary comment before I go to what your thoughts are regarding the committee that has been set up.
Thank you very much. Let me take this opportunity to say good evening to our cherished viewers. And let me also join the millions of Ghanaians to commiserate with the Bree family, the family of Ibrahim Mohammed, a.k.a. Kaka, the families of Nasir, the family of Mutala Mohammed. And let me join all, including the Ghana Bishops' Conference, to condemn in toto this dastardly act that has disgraced us. In fact, it's a puncture in our democracy. What happened? This young man, Kaka, was killed. And we attempted to go and support them to bury Kaka. And I'm very sure every intelligence will tell you that on the day of the burial, you will expect some bit of violence. It is predictable. So if we had gone there as security officer to support, to ensure that there is calm in the vicinity for the burial of Kaka, what happened, and the military was invited, shocked me, absolutely. The presence of the military in an internal security law enforcement environment at a time that the police cannot say that, in fact, the violence had gone beyond the capacity of the police was a surprise to me.
You just saw the video that we played right now, a while ago, the video we played in which you see the young men. I mean, these were young men holding clubs, some of them holding machetes. This is a very agitated group of people.
Yeah.
With your experience within the police, wouldn't you say that as a division, maybe, I think this is a municipal area, that the police there will not be able to contain such a crowd, and that must have necessitated the inclusion of the military in the first place?
Gifty, if that happened, that is bad planning, because this was predictable. And I'm seeing the police, I can't see enough police officers there with the right gadget. Because if you are deployed from police unit, right, you will see all the shields, you are going to see all the batons, you are going to see all the tasers, and even their turnout alone can frighten these young men to get out. So the police themselves, I can't see how prepared they were for this particular riot. And for you to invite the military, for me, I will never on any day blame the military for what they did. They are trained for combat, and if you are inviting them, what you are telling them is that the police cannot do it. Please, soldiers, come in and support. So when they drop down, what they've been trained to do is what they are going to do, and that's exactly what they did throughout the Fourth Republic. When have we ever invited military in an internal security issue, a law enforcement issue, and the results are not the same? You see, we are not learning. The truth is that the military officer is trained for a different arena, and the police officer is trained for law enforcement and internal security. And it is very clear that at any point in time that the police loses control, and they feel that this is just beyond them, they will stretch an olive leaf and call upon the military to come in and support.
Now look at the crowd there.
Yes.
This is obviously a crowd that the police officers that we saw on the ground couldn't have dealt with. Isn't that correct?
That is what I'm saying. If this was not anticipated, I would be surprised. Because if intelligence didn't work well, somebody should be held responsible. If intelligence gathering was effective enough, you can predict that on this particular day, after the barrier of Kaka, this was going to be something that will be so common. And the police will be prepared to deal with it.
Isn't it possible that the police commander there, Mr. Hammond, looked at the situation and he thought, he predicted, like you're saying, that yes, there will be people, yes, we will be on the ground, but we can't deal with it, which is why we decide that let's bring in the soldiers. But that help me understand how it even works.
Thank you.
Usually, that when you come here, once the military has been invited, does it mean that they just, start operation, or do they have to wait until the police can no longer handle it before they can come in?
Let me run you through the process.
Yes.
What happens is that within that particular district, if you do the analysis and realize that, look, you can't do it within the district, you don't have the answers within the district, you inform your regional commander, you inform your divisional commander. I need support, okay? I need reinforcement. This particular thing that I'm seeing coming can overwhelm my command, so I need support. If the commander at the divisional level agrees, the regional commander agrees, they will send you maximum support that will be capable to deal with the situation. And if it happens like that, I am very sure we have seen a lot of police officers on the ground, there is something we call saturation. When you're able to predict correctly, your intelligence is right, that this particular violence is likely to come, you saturate the place before they even gather. Right from the barrier, the town would have been saturated with police officers, and it will be impossible for the youth to gather and become violent. If at the point that it becomes unnecessary or impossible for the police to handle, when the police are calling for the military, you have failed to do what you are supposed to do. You are incapacitated in doing what you are supposed to do. When you call a higher power, and the higher power is coming, please, you give way. That is it.
So we shouldn't have seen the police there at all?
No.
Because they were there, right?
The police were there, but in this particular instance, you saw that the military were the ones who were leading.
They've taken over.
Yes, the military has taken over. And I'm saying that I don't have a problem with that. The police are saying, please, military, come. And when you are calling the military to come, under normal circumstances, presence alone is also another force.
Yes.
It would have been possible for the military to come and the police would tell them, please come and show presence, but we don't want you to participate for now. The military could come and just stand a few meters away. Let the youth see that the military are here to back the police, but they're not stepping into that theater until the police are overwhelmed and say, please come on board. When they give them the sign to come on board, I think that what will happen, everybody knows that the military officer is trained to do what he has done, and nobody will blame anybody.
Okay, let's go to Ejra right now. My colleague Nana Yaljima is standing by. Over there, the Interior Minister has been there today, commiserating with the family and also inaugurating a three-member committee that is supposed to probe this matter, because I want to talk to Mr. Tobu about this committee as well. The minority has shared its own, thoughts on it already, but we'll hear from him too. Nanaya, are you there? Hello, Nanaya. Nanaya, do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so run us through what the Interior Minister has been doing.
So the Interior Minister says he came on a fact-finding mission here in Ejra. So he visited the Chief of Ejra to listen to him and also assure him that justice will be served the people of Ejra, and also the investigation that needs to be conducted into the incident that happened to on the 29th will be done, and that will be restored to Ejra. So it was an assurance for the Chief of Ejra. And he also made it known that government has instituted a three-member committee to investigate the incidents that happened on the 29th of last month. So according to the regional, the Minister for Interior, some three persons have been given the mandate to look into the issues. One, they will look into the courts of the cause of the routing that was experienced on the 29th, and that's the death of Kaka. But in this area, the police will continue to investigate the criminal aspects of the issue, but the committee will also do some work on that. And also, the committee is also to find out how the shooting incident happened and the demise of these two persons. So the three persons who are supposed to lead the investigation include Mr. Kingsley Kumson. He is a justice of the appeals court, and he will be the chairman of the committee to investigate the matter. And also Dr. Vladimir Echidanso, he is a security expert and he's known across the country. He will also be a member of the committee. And Juliet Amwa, executive director of 10 Plus Byte, she is also a member. And on the committee will be Marie-Louise Simons, principal state attorney, and he will be the secretary for this committee. And according to the minister, the committee, since it's made up of persons who are not political persons, who are known to be distinguished in their fields, will ensure that whatever the cause of the incident is will be unveiled, and the recommendations and also whatever the findings will be strictly implemented by government. So it's been an assurance, and also to let the people know about the committee that has been set up to investigate the matter.
Okay, Danaya, he was at the chief's palace. Wrap up for me with what the chief said in response and how the family members of Kaka are taking this, as well as those who have died. Their families have been calling for justice. So a response from the family and the palace.
So at the palace, Berima Osei Shide, who is the chief of Edra, he says, though what has happened is an unfortunate incident, the response of government is one that he would describe as promising. And according to him, he trusts the committee that has been set up to do a very good job for the people. And according to him, he wants the government to help him, or the traditional authority, build a division for the police. As he said, Edra has been a place known for violence, especially during electioneering period. A lot of the people are divided between the ruling NPP and the opposition NDC. So whenever there is an election, there is a tendency for Edra to be added to the flashpoint in the country. So due to that, he wants the Ministry of Interior and the Ghana Police Service help him and the traditional authority put up a division, a police division there for them. So he says he has already brought, has given government or released a parcel of land to government, and very soon he will ensure that every material needed for the construction will be provided by the traditional authority, and government will also come in, help them to build this police divisional headquarters in Edra to help the people deal with the occasional rioting or disturbances that they've experienced in the area. Now, moving to the families of some of the deceased, let's start with Kaka, whose demise sparked the rioting that we saw and resulted in the reprisal or the shooting that the police did in the Edra area. Now, the family of Kaka continue to call on government to release the brother of Kaka, who has been arrested as one of the suspects in the murder of Kaka. Okay. So that is something that the family spoke, aggressively spoke to the minister about, because they believe that the brother of Kaka can never be complicit in the murder, and also family of others, including Abdul Nasir Yusuf. They are divided between the family is divided concerning the committee that has been set up to investigate the incident. Some members of the family believe they trust the committee to do a very good job, but there are other members who are saying that there have been incidents like this that have been recorded in the country. They mentioned the Ayawaso West. So
they don't believe in the setup of the committee at all. It appears so there are those who believe that the committee will do the work, and there are those who don't believe in the setup of the committee at all. I believe that's what you're saying, Nanayo.
Exactly. Some do not believe about do not believe in the members constituting the committee.
Okay. Nanayo, let's leave it there as we've run out of time this moment. Thank you so much for those details there. Nanayo Jima there. So, Mr. Tabu, you heard Nanayo Jima. There has been a committee set up. The minority in Parliament has already indicated that you've already, sort of put in a vote of no confidence in this particular, in the setup of the committee. But we've seen the members now. What do you make of that now?
Thank you very much. Gift is not about the members. Justice George Kingsley Kumson is a fine gentleman, an eminent personality within the criminal justice system. Dr. Vladimir Anchudanso, my own professor in Legon, I know him so well. His capacity, nobody doubts that. I know that Juliet is a wonderful person. The three can do a good job. But you know what? The Inspector General of Police could also set up a committee to investigate this. The Minister of Interior could set up a committee to investigate it. At the presidential level, what we expected was for the president to establish or set up a presidential commission of inquiry. A presidential commission of inquiry has the power of a high court. These are murder cases, right? There is no murder case that you can try within a lower court. At the high court, things are determined. So if the commission has a high court status, it can do a lot more than what a committee under the Minister for Interior will do. And you also know what? The whole Ghana Police Service is under the Minister for Interior. So if the police service has a challenge, and you're asking the Minister of Interior to reinvestigate within his own confines, I think that it is not fair. Let's allow an independent body, a presidential commission of inquiry, to take up this matter, and all of our, look, it is a public inquiry. I hear people saying that the NDC in Parliament is not allowing the president to do a public inquiry. No, the NDC is saying, please, President, lift the game. Lift it from a committee to an inquiry level, a presidential commission. From a committee under the Minister for Interior to a presidential commission of inquiry.
Isn't
With
it
the High
too late
Court,
now that the members have already been constituted?
what is too late to a president? We live in this country. The president is the most powerful, okay? He can decide today and say, yes, I have listened, and I think that a presidential commission of inquiry will do a good job for all sides within this community of Ghana to be happy that something is being done. What happened in Ayawaso West Wagon? How many people died? But there was a presidential commission of inquiry. Even though the report, we all know what happened. But this particular one, 3 people died. 3 people from Ejura. Ejura people lost 3 of their young men. And I think that it is good for us to say, President, well done, but it is little.
The community, today the minister was there, the community seemed to have accepted the move by the government. Isn't that a place to say, let's pause and see how this goes? And then if it doesn't go well, I mean, we have the committee in Parliament of which we're a member, then you can step in and do something about it.
And all these things will waste of time. What is right, if you do it once and bring the results, is better than, oh, let's allow things to lie, hello, and then let's be able to allow the committee to work. If we are not happy, then we go back to the president and say, no, no, the committee is not working well. We want a commission. The president himself knows, as a matter of fact, as a lawyer, that a presidential commission of inquiry carries more weight, carries more power, carries more expertise to be able to do this work for us, notwithstanding the fact that the members of this committee are wonderful people.
There's this video that I want to wrap up our conversation with. This video that has gone viral, in which you see the soldiers shooting into the crowd. You see one of them who kneels, and that has become one of the icons of this particular conversation. I want to, here is the what will bring you the other video. Well, that's not this is not the specific. Okay, well, maybe we could take this one, but the specific video that I wanted to show you, in that video, and I'm sure you've seen it, where the moment where the vehicle comes with the soldiers, and then they start shooting. A friend of mine looks at it and tells me they were shooting blanks. I really wish that we could get a particular video. How does it work? Because his explanation is that when you are shooting blanks, it is when you cock and then you shoot, and then you have to cock again and then you shoot. Help me understand this.
Thank you very much. I have never seen a soldier shoot blank. I have never seen a soldier out of my 25 years experience, a soldier carrying a gun with blank ammunition. Blank ammunition are for crowd control management, of crowd control business. And crowd control is within the ambit of the Ghana Police Service. So Ghana Police Service can go to a scene with a lot of blank ammunition. But the soldier, I'm saying that the soldier is a combat officer. He's trained to shoot and maim permanently and even kill. So if you're inviting the soldier, don't ask the soldier to come with blank ammunition. We don't do that. And when the soldier arrives, what he's trained to do is what you have called him to come and do. Why are you complaining that he's shot and killed? You should know that he's coming to shoot and kill. So if it is not right for you to invite him, whoever invited him will have to be held responsible, period. I'm happy that the committee is in place, even though we are calling on the president to lift it up, to make it a commission of inquiry. But if you go and ask for the police operation order right now, and see at what point would military be invited, look at the intelligence that was gathered and analyzed. At what point, how many police officers were predicted to be able to have the capacity to handle the riot? Because it was predictable. If you look at the operation order, it will tell you at the point that the soldiers were coming, the police themselves know what they are coming to do. But it's just unfortunate that you will find a soldier kneeling and firing straight into the crowd.
What if he was firing at somebody that was in a position to cause harm?
Thank you very much. Yesterday, I listened to my own big brother, Mr. James Opombuanu, the Inspector General of Police, and he was saying that, look, you have justification to use firearm. The police do have that justification. And I said, that is true. But in that justification, if you think that somebody has a lethal weapon capable of causing harm, death, and even injuring the police officers or the security officers, you target and deal with that person. Okay? When you deal with that person, the person is fired and you see that the person fell with his gun or his weapon. And everybody sees that this is the person who carries a gun and wanted to fire the police officer. But if you fire and kill 2, 3 innocent people, okay? The law is simple, that if you free 1,000 people, okay, because you are looking for one criminal, if you allow that criminal to run away because you want to free 1,000 people, it's better than killing one innocent person. But today, as we speak, Kaka's death brought about 2 other deaths. Which of the 2? Is it Nasser or Mutala who was armed? Which of them?
I guess those are the things that the committee will be required to establish. Well, Mr. Tobu, thank you so much for your time this afternoon, and we'll see how it goes with your committee in Parliament, whether or not you'll be able to do anything about the committee that has been set up now, because now we know that 9 more days.
Well, we hear that the president is a listening president. That is what we have been told for many years, and look, 9 days more, and this is a very serious matter. In 9 days, if the report is ready, that would be wonderful. But for me, I think that we should do a better job than a committee. It should be a commission of inquiry.
Mr. Tobu, thank you very much for passing through.
Always a pleasure.
Peter Lanchene Tobu is Member of Parliament for Wa West. He's a member on the Parliament Select Committee on Defence and the Interior. They're sharing his thoughts with us on the committee. Well, the committee has been set. It's got 9 more days to work this out. Fishers in the Volta region are demanding livelihood support from the government during the close season period. According to them, the closure of the season would worsen their living conditions within the 1 month. The fisher folks say they have yet to recover from the havoc caused by the coronavirus pandemic, so they want stipends from government to cushion their livelihoods. The close season, which is one of the recommendations by the European Union to restore Ghana's depleting fish stock, starts from today, the 1st of July to 31st of July for canoe and inshore fishers, and from the 1st of July to 31st of August for industrial trawlers.
Speaking at a press conference ahead of the 2021 closed fishing season, Executive Director of Friends of the Nation, Don.
It's sunrise here at the London Beach in Qatar, in the Qatar municipality of the Volta region. Most of the fisher folks have returned from the night's expedition and are making efforts to pull their nets out. As the fishermen dock their boats, the women parade the shores with their bowls to purchase the fish and prepare them for sales. This has been the phenomenon here every morning except Sundays. However, starting from the 1st of July, fishing activities in Ghana's marine waters would cease. The closed season, introduced as an intervention to restore the depleting fish stock, is from 1st July to 31st July for canoe and inshore fishers, and from 1st July to 31st August for industrial trawlers. Kosi, who inherited the fishing profession from his father, fears the policy would bring hardship to their families within the period. We were not consulted before a decision was taken on the closed season. We are to stop fishing for about a month. What will we survive on? We have school fees, medical bills, among others, to pay. It now behoves on females to take care of their household, since their husbands would be idle at home within the period. Mansa Aholumega laments the period would be a difficult one for her 5-member family. We, the women, take care of our husbands and children during the hard times. We didn't receive any support during the 2019 closed season, which is why we are concerned about the plans of government for us this year. We are in a period of hunger. We have endured enough hunger during the peak of the coronavirus pandemic. We moved to neighboring Togo to work in bad times, but we can't do that now because the borders are closed. Badly for us, prices of food commodities are increasing. The government must provide us with some form of support within the closed season.
12 cities.
Speaking at the ceremony to officially declare the closed season, the Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, Hawa Kumsin, addressed the concerns of the fisher folks.
We are glad to come out with some support that we are still doing the procurements. We need to follow the procurement process. So very soon, within a week or two, you see us coming round to your regions, your fishing communities, to give you something small so you can take care of the children. Government cannot give you physical money because you are over 20-something thousand members. Government cannot give you money to sustain you. The only thing we can do is the ministry to support you with something small to take care of the children. We're also coming round with some fishing nets. And it tells you that you don't have to use the unauthorized fishing net when that fishing net is given to you. We're going to leave no stone unturned. Please, I'm not here to arrest anybody, but if you fall into my trap, I will not spare you.
The Volta Regional Chief Fisherman, Seth Kede, advocated for the formation of monitoring units to ensure compliance within the period. The acting president of the Ghana Industrial Trawlers Association, Stephen Ajokache, pledged his association's commitment to bringing Seiko to an end. Togbi Siri III lauded the government's efforts to restore the depleting fish stock and reminded it of a yet-to-be-fulfilled campaign promise. The government promised to construct a fishing harbour here. We are pleading with the government to act on its promise. We believe the presence of a harbour here would propel the local economy and enhance livelihoods. Libation was poured and prayers were said to commence the closed season in Ghana's marine waters. Fred Kwame Asari, JoyNews, Qatar.
Well, the minority in Parliament has been casting doubts on the ability for this move to reach actually what it was meant to reach, saying that they say that government has increased the cost for vessels to the tune of about 300%. Let's get on the phone now. I have President of the Ghana Inshore Fishing Association, Joseph Ni Amakwe. Mr. Amakwe, good afternoon. Thank you for your time.
Good afternoon, madam.
So generally, fishers are calling for government to support them within this 1 month, also citing COVID-19 and all. The minister, when she was speaking to the fisher folk in the Volta region, said government will be giving fishers something small, as she put it, and fishing nets. That should work, right?
That's it. Good afternoon again to all your listeners, and thank you very much for your call. Actually, this close season, for we as fishers and associations, if you recall, we have all come together to enforce this close season for all of us, our betterment. The question you asked, what is government doing for us? I think yesterday I made it clear to the whole country that government is giving all the landing beach premise with a very big subsidy, which goes to all the landing beach, and they are also having some rebates. And I believe this 1 month is just 14 days out of what we are talking about. So I believe the rebates of what they are getting on the premise, what they sell, they must be able to at least cater for all these things. As government brings some more support to help us, as the minister is saying. The minister said it's based on procurement. There's some arrangements that within this period, there will be some incentives like rice and oil to support it, especially at the family. So that is what we are looking forward.
Okay. The minority in Parliament has been raising concerns about, they say that this move we may not reach exactly what we intended to achieve because of government's decision to increase the license fees for vessel owners by 300%. What do you think?
It is not true.
Okay.
I can tell you in confidence, I have a fishing vessel. I have 3 fishing vessels. What is happening, I go to sea, I spend 2,000 Ghana cedis every day within a period of 7 days, minus Tuesday that I don't go to sea. I go and I come back with empty vessel. What is happening at the moment that the sea is depleted? But the interesting aspect now, the Chinese vessels, we're having the close season with them from 1st July. We are having 1 month and they are having 2 months. And we will all see what it will be. All that we are praying is that the fishes will spawn rest. You understand? The fishes will spawn and rest. So that we can get, when they open it, we will all see that there's going to be some supportive areas that we can go and we can bring something for our families and get something for our homes and pay our loans. So this question of this parliament something, we are pleading with them that let's pray that we observe the close season. It is not the minister who said we want the close season. We, the fishers. The minister started engaging fishers from Hafasini. He went to the western region, Shaman. He came to the central region with fishers. He came to Greater Accra and we ended at Abdota region. I was there. So all our plea is that let's all pray and leave everything to the Almighty God, because the question is that our sea is being depleted, so we need to repeat it.
Very much for your time, and hopefully we'll have the expectations after the 1 month. Joseph Ni Ama Kwe there, he's the president of the Ghana Inshore Fishing Association. Yes, so watching The Pulse with me, Gifty and Wapia. A quick break, we'll be right back. Do stay with us. Welcome back to the show. Thank you for staying with us. Now, the Ghana Football Awards was established in 2018 to project Ghanaian football excellence. The annual award scheme aims to recognize Ghanaian footballers and other stakeholders for their efforts at home and around the globe. The award scheme is helmed by a board made up of esteemed former footballers, referees, administrators, and journalists. I have here in studio Seidu Ademo, who is a member of the committee, to walk us through this award scheme and how it's going to work. So let's begin, Ms. Ademo, with the members on the committee. Tell us, of course, you yourself are a member of the committee. Who else is on it?
Okay, so the Ghana Football Awards has a board and a committee.
Okay.
I'm on a committee, but it's the majority of the work is done by the board. So the board is chaired by Mr. Carter for, he's the board chairman. We have the Ghana FA's referees manager, Mr. Alex Kote. He's also a member of the board. Okay. We have former Black Stars defender John Pinto on the board. We have our own Gary Al-Smith, Nathan Kwao, also on the board, and some few members making up the board of directors of the Ghana Football Awards.
Interesting. Let's look at the award categories. I mean, what are we looking at? Who gets what? Or let's just look at the categories before we look at even the nominees.
Okay, so the categories on the normal football awards, one would expect to see the best footballer of the year, the young footballer of the year, the home-based footballer of the year, the goalkeeper of the year. But for the Ghana Football Awards, we seek to introduce new categories every year. So for this year, we introduced about 4 new categories. We introduced what we call the Odatelamte News Rising Star Award. That one seeks to award up-and-coming stars, and the concept is to award excellence. So we take Odatelamte. You know, he got his first professional contract at age 15.
Okay.
Yes, so we look at bringing stars at that age and rewarding them and looking at the potential they have for football. So we brought that category this year. We also brought the Best CEO of the Year award. That's also an innovation.
CEO for the football clubs?
Exactly. Yes, so because the Ghana Football Award looks into rewarding excellence. And so we look into football administrators who've changed the narration. So if you look at the final 3, you realize why we've chose this category. We also brought the most vibrant club on social media. And that is one of the most interesting aspects of the new categories we have. And finally, we have the Best African International.
Okay.
This one is the projection of the Ghana Football Awards going international, going continental. So we are looking to reward Best African performers in Europe.
Well, international,
exactly.
playing international.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. Well, one of the key things when it comes to awards is how the awardees are determined.
Yeah.
So run us through your process.
Okay, so like I said, we have the committee, we have the board. So the committee does the first selection. So the committee picks a pool of performers within the various categories. So we pick them up, then the board has the final decision to determine the top 3. Or
Will people be allowed to vote? Is there voting?
Yes, there's going to be a voting, but this award is also unique. Okay. We have what we call the Club 100. So it is the Club 100 that votes who gets what.
So it's not like a public vote.
It's okay.
Not like everybody can vote.
No, yes. So there are 2 categories that is left for the public.
Okay.
So the almost 8 of the categories are purposely for the Club 100.
Okay.
And the 2, which we think should the public should have a say, because the 2 are, 1, the goal of the season, and also the most vibrant club on social media. These ones are for public voting.
But
the other one, the rest is for the Club 100. And the Club 100 is made up of captains of the various clubs, captains of the national teams, coaches of the national teams, and some selected top football journalists.
I see. Interesting. It doesn't sound fair, but we'll leave it at that for now. What has been the public's response? I believe that this is from a previous
This is
award.
from the 2019 award where Thomas Partey emerged the best footballer.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
Unfortunately for
and he was indeed awarded well, because you've seen the exploits that
exactly, and he was one of the top performers for both country and club. He was then with Atletico Madrid, and he was he deserved the award at the time. Yes.
Certainly. Now we've seen where he is, Arsenal all the way.
Exactly.
So tell us briefly about the sort of public response you've had and the challenges that you've had to deal with.
Yes. So one of the biggest challenges, everybody trying to have their preferred footballer or administrator on the final list. But unfortunately, if we are to award 100, there are more than 100 footballers. If you are to award 10, there are more than 10 footballers. So if you look at one of the categories, you realize that we have more than 3 finalists. That's the most vibrant club on social media, and also the best footballer in the Ghanaian league. You realize that we have more than, because the board had difficult time choosing the best 3. In fact, we gave them a list of 12 players as from the committee level to choose 3, and the board had difficult time choosing. They couldn't.
That's why you should open it up for voting. that makes it easier.
Yes, I'm sure the board.
That way you can put the blame on the public.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it was difficult. Difficult because this year has been very exciting. We've had an exciting season where players have really performed. And in fact, it's the first time in 4 years that the Ghana FA is organizing the whole season. And so people have seen all these players. We've also had the games on TV, and so people have the opportunity to see the players, and so they feel that, why I've seen this player, why is he not on the final 3?
On the list? Okay.
So that's the most difficult aspect of it, and the criticism. In fact, on the day that we released the finalists, I slept around 1 a.m. because I was on social media
trying to respond
to almost
you have
all
a long
questions.
way to go there. Let's end with where and when this year's event is happening.
Yes, okay, so this year's event is happening at the Grand Arena at the Conference Center on Saturday, 3rd of July, and it's 7 p.m. It's kickoff time.
Okay.
So when we say 7 p.m., we mean football kickoff time. So it's 7 p.m. and it's 7 p.m. And so we have a list of invited guests because of COVID protocols, which must be respected.
Yes.
And so fortunately for us, or unfortunately for the public, it's going to be live on Joy Prime. And also on the Ghana Football Awards Facebook page.
Right.
And so if you're at home and you don't get the opportunity to be at the Grand Arena, you are sure to watch on Joy Prime and also on our Facebook page.
At 7 p.m. this Saturday.
Exactly.
We want to make a date. Seydou, thank you very much for coming through. Seydou Ademo is a member of the committee. It's the Ghana Football Awards. You want to take your time, watch it on Joy Prime this Saturday. Thank you, Seydou, once again. Well, before we go and do Let's Talk Showbiz, news is coming in that cases of the more infectious Delta variant of COVID-19 more than doubled last week in Germany, and are likely to increase further in the coming days. There are concerns about possible travel chaos as many go on their summer holidays, and for some countries there are stricter entry controls. DW's Thomas Sparrow joins from Berlin. Thomas, just how badly is Germany affected by the virus, and in particular by the new Delta variant?
Well, if you look at the general coronavirus situation in Germany, especially if you look at infection and death numbers, you'll notice a clear positive trend. Compared to the beginning of the year, Germans are now enjoying many more freedoms and they can lead a more or less normal life. But, and this is an actually very important but, authorities have warned that citizens must not be complacent. The virus is still there, and in particular now the more infectious Delta variant, which is present in at least 85 countries and also spreading here in Germany. Cases of the Delta variant more than doubled last week in the country, and they are likely to increase further, with authorities warning that it's believed to represent more than 50% of active cases. So all in all, we can say that Germans are enjoying a relatively relaxed summer, but they're aware that the Delta variant could affect things seriously again.
What then are authorities doing to prevent the Delta variant from spreading further?
First and foremost, they are asking people not to ignore the variant, not to become complacent. Second, they're also very much looking at the wider picture because various European countries are badly affected by the variant, and as you may know, Europeans are traveling a lot nowadays during the summer holidays. So there's increased risk there. Hence the decision by German authorities to impose stricter restrictions for travellers who come to Germany from Portugal and from Russia. And then there is a debate going on as to whether there should be even more controls for people returning from holidays.
In the meantime, though, Thomas, how is Germany's vaccination rollout progressing?
Vaccination is still seen here in Germany as the way out of the pandemic, and now over half of Germany's population has received at least one vaccination and over 35% are fully vaccinated. This is not only vital to prevent further infections and keep the overall situation under control, but also relevant for people who want to return to a more or less normal life. If you want to go to an indoor restaurant here or to a large event, for example, you can either present a negative coronavirus antigen test or a full vaccination certificate.
Well, talking about vaccination, we're still waiting for more of ours. Thomas, thank you very much. Thomas Sparrow is political correspondent with our partners DW. He joined us all the way from Berlin here on the Ports. Well, mind you, there is more news at myjoyonline.com if you do hop onto it. Of course, police fire tear gas, warning shot at Abubulu Sheep Market, our top story there. Several other stories beneath. You can share it with your contacts so they know what's going on. My name is Gifty Ando Apia. It's always a pleasure coming your way. We'll do this again tomorrow, God willing.